This exhibit is located on our third floor. The title is 2000 Men, and it is about Black politicians during Reconstruction, so the era just after the Civil War up until about 1900. That was a time when over 2,000 Black men were able to participate in politics for the first time. So one of my favorite quotes, and I quote her all the time, is from Dr. Cheryl Howard, who is president of the African American Heritage Society. And she always tells me, and I think it's absolutely true, that Black history is American history, right? It's all intertwined, it's all involved together. There's no separating it out. Black history is history. And so I think it's really significant to have this story be told, because a lot of times it isn't told. People don't necessarily think about all of the politicians that suddenly had this chance right after the Civil War. So Black politicians were pushed out of office around starting in the 1880s up into the 1890s, and then from about 1900 until almost 1960, there are no more Black politicians in the United States, and that was a huge gap, and that was due to the rise in segregation and Jim Crow. There was a lot of barriers preventing people from engaging in politics at the time. So prior to that, when we have all of these Black politicians in office, it really is an example of how well the United States could have become and how well it could have run if we kind of kept going with that momentum. So I think probably the most impactful item that we have in this exhibit is actually our empty case, believe it or not. So we have an entire case dedicated to the fact that we don't have items. And I think it's a really powerful moment when you walk up to it and you realize there's nothing in there, because we are really lacking in those pieces. And so it really drives home the point that it's hard to tell the story of Pensacola and preserve our history without having those items available. I hope that when people visit this exhibit, they really understand how powerful and how monumental this moment in our past was, not just for Pensacola, but the nation at large, and that they really understand that there was this brief period of time where we had the ability to get everybody involved in politics. We had the option to kind of bring this United States together and truly unite it in a way that wasn't done before, and is kind of struggling to do since.